Hello lovely people, welcome to the Geek Cupboard. I am Penge and welcome to a video that we're going to call COVID and a Cuppa. Because I've got COVID and also because I've got a Cuppa. Look, there it is right there. There's my lovely cup of tea. It's a perfect name. So yes, if you did not see the community post thingamajig that I put onto the channel the other day, then you will be unaware that I have caught COVID-19 and I have been feeling quite ill with it. So unfortunately, there is going to be a gap in gaming videos until I've healed up because I just can't record anything without running out of breath. However, rather than having no video at all, I thought we could just have a nice cup of tea, here as one I made earlier, have a little chat, and I would answer 3 questions that are very commonly asked about the Geek Cupboard. First things first, however, elephant in the room, COVID. Yes, I have the COVID, and it is quite unpleasant indeed. I will not lie about it, but I'll muddle through. It could be a lot worse. It could be so much worse. I am well aware of this. I'm at home. I can rest up. I've got people, to help me out and stuff. Mrs. Penge is doing an absolutely marvellous job at making sure that I'm okay. I'm taking it very easy. So hopefully, soon enough, I will have defeated the evil COVID germs. And I realise that I am very, very fortunate in this position. I'm not taking it for granted at all. I am very grateful that I can rest up and recover at home. And yes, I've got all the symptoms that you hear about. So the shortage of breath and the tiredness and the aches and pains and the sore throat and the blocked nose. You can hear the blocked nose, I imagine. All that stuff that comes with COVID. But the weirdest thing is that I have entirely lost my senses of smell and taste, which is just bizarre. It is the very strangest thing. I mean, I knew it was a symptom. I'd heard about it, on the news and such, but I never really appreciated how strange it is not to smell or taste food. So, for example, yesterday, for lunch, I had some soup. And I like a soup. Soup's a lovely thing to have for lunch. And yesterday I had a nice sort of blended root vegetable soup. And I have had it before many times and it's delicious. But yesterday, when I had it, I just couldn't taste it. I could not taste it at all. And so it was like eating just sort of like a warm liquid. It could have been anything. It could have been vegetable or chicken or tomato or just hot water or something. It was really weird. It was really weird. So I can appreciate the texture. I knew it wasn't water really. That was just me being silly. But I knew it wasn't just water. But I could not have told you what soup it was if I hadn't have sort of looked at it and recognised it. Because it was just, it was soup in texture, but I did not know what flavour it was at all. It was very odd. It's very unexpected. It's a curious experience. It also means that I can't taste tea. I can't taste this tea, which is all very sad indeed. Again, it's just sort of, a hot liquid, a hot tasteless liquid. Tasteless liquid, delicious. But yeah, it's been a very odd sort of experience to not be able to taste anything. It's a very odd thing indeed. But anyway, let's move on from COVID woes. Let's take a look at the 3 most popular questions that get asked here in the Geek Cupboard about the channel and such like. So, question 1. Why is the channel called the Geek Cupboard? And it's a good question. It's probably the most obvious of the questions. And I think we have probably answered it before a few times in various other sorts of things, like maybe on the sort of the Christmas tea advent countdown thing we did. But for all the newcomers or the people who missed it, it's called the Geek Cupboard because that's the name of the room I am in. So when we moved into this house that we're in now, which is a while back, the smallest little box room, which is where I am, became our office, in air quotes, or more accurately, the gaming room, I suppose, because it had my PC in it. So I'd come up here and play games, and then all my geeky things would go in here. So I'd get a new geeky thing, and it would go into this room. And then at some point, which is a moment sadly lost to history, I do not know kind of when it happened or who named it or whatever, it was somehow referred to as a geek cupboard because it was a tiny little room that we were just filling up with geeky things. And then from that point on, it was just referred to as the Geek Cupboard. It was a bit, what are you doing with that? Oh, is that a thing to go on the wall in your Geek Cupboard? Yeah, it's going on the wall in the Geek Cupboard. And then, it just it stuck. And then when I was looking for a channel name, it seemed a logical choice, really. I mean, there were a few options, but that seemed the most logical choice because that's where I would be recording things and where I play my games and all that kind of stuff. So, play my games in there, I'm going to be recording in there. Let's call it the Geek Cupboard. Sorted. So that's where the name came from. Right, question 2. Is your name really Penge? No, my name really is not Penge. It's a nickname that comes from my somewhat obscure surname, but it's a nickname that has very, very much stuck. So my parents mostly call me Penge. Mrs. Penge calls me Penge. The in-laws call me Penge. My friends call me Penge. I only really hear my proper name at work and, in official places, so like in a bank or whatever. But most people know me as Penge, and I'm absolutely fine with that. I'm all entirely 100% fine with being known as Penge. It's a good thing, and I'm happy with that. And then question 3, what is your favourite tea? So this is a very good question. It's a very good question indeed. Tea is very important. So I've done the numbers, which is something I'm really, really good at. I'm great with numbers and calculations and stuff. We all know this to be true. And I estimate that I drink around 300 cups of tea a day, more or less. So obviously I want to drink a good quality tea. And this here, yes, I've got props and everything. I'm sort of organised. This here is the best tea. Yorkshire Gold is by far the best tea. It is a wonderful thing. So Yorkshire tea is an excellent tea, but Yorkshire Gold is one step above. It's top stuff. And I generally only buy this now. And then I have the decaf Yorkshire tea to have before bed because I'm old now and can't have caffeine too late in the day. But Yorkshire Gold is now my kind of normal tea. I mean, Yorkshire tea is brilliant stuff, but I just buy this now. I just have Yorkshire Gold. My standards have been raised somewhat. But this is my go-to tea, my session tea, if you like. I mean, I can't taste it right now. I can't taste this tea at all, but I'm still drinking it because I need to know that the tasteless liquid I'm drinking is, premium tasteless liquid and not inferior tasteless liquid. So yes, Yorkshire Gold is absolutely my favourite tea of all the teas. And there we go. 3 of the most frequently asked questions answered. As for when I shall be recording gaming videos again, I really don't know. When I'm well enough. I mean, hopefully by the weekend, everything will be back to normal and I'll be able to, chunter on about taverns and medieval peasants and gangsters again and all that kind of stuff. But hopefully this has been a fun little stand-in. I thought, you know what, I can probably, muster enough breath to talk for a few minutes about some random bits and bobs. So hopefully this has been quite an enjoyable little sort of look at, some lovely tea and a box of tea and talking about other bits and bobs. But hopefully it's been fun. Thank you for your patience while we have our sort of gaming delay. And thank you as well for all the kind messages on the sort of community posting that went out. They were all very, very lovely indeed. They're very kind. So thank you. They did put a smile onto my weary, exhausted face. So fingers crossed, normal service. I've got my fingers crossed. There they are. Fingers crossed, normal service will be resumed soon. But for now, thank you very much for joining me in the Geek Cupboard, and I will see you next time. Kunik, your time is now. And you have missed, Kunik. This is unacceptable, Kunik. An Ash's caravan has been ambushed by man-hunting chinchillas. Are you going to land on my potatoes? That is just not the done thing. Oh, there's a lot of them. 1, 2, 3. These guys have got amazing hair. I'm delighted that we've actually done something and it's worked.